We will join Drako. And add Saftblandern into the view as well. It will be a Paladin versus Paladin mirror match. Discarding out the 5 mana Belcher. Let's see what you get in return. The 8 mana Tyrion, not better. So as far as starting hands go, Saftblandern has the much stronger start versus just the basic reinforcements from Drako and no turn 3 play whatsoever. Does he take the risk of playing the Knife Juggler? Drako might have Muster for battle. Muster would absolutely destroy the Knife Juggler. Taking the risk would have been worth it. Unfortunately, sometimes these conservative plays, they just don't pay out. The Acolyte itself will probably be removed with the Trousseau champion because that is literally the only thing that makes any sense to play in this situation. Denying the draw from the Acolyte to be just 1 makes a lot more sense than dropping out the Pilot Shredder and letting the Acolyte draw cards off of the Silver Hand Recruit. At 4 mana, you could in theory coin out the Lothep, but it's not as good as going on the curve with the Pilot Shredder. You know it's gonna get removed with the Trousseau champion, but you're relying on the 2-drop to be useful against the Silver Hand Recruit. The strongest, or the second strongest drop you can actually get from Shredder is the Succubus. The only one better than the Succubus is Millhouse Bandstorm. So, fairly good drop for Saftblandern there. Coining out the Muster means it's quite likely the Knife Juggler will get rid of this Belcher. And using the weapon to soften up the slime for future turns. Good choice there. Trousseau champion to get rid of the Knife Juggler so he doesn't get any more value than he already does. Question from Dro about the points from the World Championship. The winner, if we get World Championship status, which we haven't officially gotten yet, but I have started the process, we should get it, is 10 points for the winner, 5 points for the second place finisher, and 1 point for the third place and the fourth place finisher both. Able to clear the board with their existing minions, coining out the Dr. Boom. Very strong turn 7 there. The Lothep by itself does very little, but compared to the other options of the Antique Heal bot, maybe just a Pilot Shredder with the hero ability, it's more efficient mana-wise. At least it sort of forces the opposing player to do something about the Lothep. Delays the game somewhat. With the Trousseau champion though, you guessed it, the boom bots are gonna go to work. And there goes the first throw, working its way into the Lothep, finishing it off, so the second Boombot actually still stays on the board as a threat. Now if you play down the Tyrion Vordring, the 1/1 is just going to proc the shield, remove the get removed by Boom, and everything else is going to go to your face. With that lay on hands, he's trying to draw for an answer that would be better than just the Tyrion. Big Game Hunter, of course, being able to be used on the Dr. Boom will help the situation somewhat. He's going to be left with 6 mana to work with. Maybe the Shredder or the Acolyte, depending on what is drawn next. This Tyrion, unfortunately, going to get Buck Knighted, which will also destroy the charge from the Trousseau champion, making it so that he should have been more aggressive last turn. An attack with the weapon to the face. If he had attacked, then Drako would be at 14 instead of 16. You could push down 6 damage, need 8 more from your hand. Not quite manageable right now. So instead of that, he's going to go for the board control. Hoping for the Boombot to hit the big game hunter. This time though, it didn't. Boombot death rattle going straight for the face for 1 damage. 50% chance. Sometimes it doesn't pan out. Options for Drako, fairly limited. The Consecration is literally the only way he can kill off the Sludge Belcher. It's not the best possible thing to do with a Consecration, but it's at least something. The Shredder with the Minibot, making it so that Drako actually gets the board presence for him. Unfortunately for him though, Saftblandern has the required amount of taunts to stop his progression and keep up the aggression. Neither one of those minions being able to handle the Belcher by itself. Oh, if only he had any pirates, then the ship's cannon would be more useful. With this, there's 12 damage on the board, including the weapon. If he uses the anti-heal bot, then Saftblandern would need 5 damage from his hand, which is quite unlikely.
Let me think.
Buying Drako at least 1 more turn. If he uses Tyrion, it is going to get silenced. So the heal bot is actually a better choice. Acolyte into hero ability, more than likely going to happen. Not going to waste the item decal into a small, insignificant target such as a slime. There we go. Drako establishing the board more, but Saftblandern still having a pretty good, solid position. If you want, you can just lay on hands this turn, draw more cards, try to get that answer you need. But instead of that, he decides to opt for the board control option, removing the existing minions out of the Quartermaster possibilities. Probably dropping down the Shredder, Shielded Manibot, hero ability. Or using the lay on hands now. Personally, I would always prefer to see lay on hands and other card draw effects being played before you decide on your games on the board. But on the other hand, nothing significant was drawn, so the plays would have probably been the same anyway. Consecration does deal something, does do something onto this board. Enables Drako to trade away or kill the Loatheb and the Shielded Minibot.
Put your faith in the light.
But instead of that, he's gonna go for the Tyrion to try and protect himself. This might backfire due to the silence. Silence makes sure that there's nothing away. He would need 9 damage from his hand. Truce of a Champion is 4, there is no other way to get 5 needed. Silence also makes the Consecration have great value. True Silver Champion able to remove Tyrion, so there's no risk of a rogue panda or what have you removing the silence. A single turn, turning the board once again in favor of Saftblandern.
Put this apple on your head.
Juggler, reinforcement, probably hoping to hit the 5-3. And there we go. Perfect juggles. That's a 1 in 4 chance for both of those juggles to hit Loatheb. So 12.5%, and it happens. Consecration for Consecration, we're just trading blows here. 1 off lethal right now, as it stands. opting not to go for the damage. Interesting. If Drako were to play Hearthstone, well, doesn't matter. Saftblandern takes the match 1-0. Paladin mirror match in his favor. Sorry about that. I had to turn off the webcam for a short while there. Let's see if the next match has already started. Yes, it has. We are going to start the game from the winner's eyes.
You asked for it.
Mech Mage versus Mech Mage. We're faced with another mirror. Saftblandern having a very, very strong, solid starting hand. Cogmaster into Mech Warper. Maybe removing the Blast Mage with the mulligan. We'll have to wait and see. If it does survive into a turn 4 with existing mechs on the board. This Cogmaster being bugged might lead me to believe that we're actually out of sync right now. Yes, I believe we are out of sync. And we missed a couple of the first turns.
I am ready.
Clockwork Gnome being mirror entity, this means that there's probably been a mad scientist which procced the trap. He mulliganed away the Cogmaster, is what I'm guessing right now. Drako's starting hand, probably a bit stronger at the current state of board. The Fireball itself is not a good card to have, but everything else, fairly solid.
I wonder.
The Paladin Shredder coming down on the board. Is an okay play. Trying to think if the combination of Spider Tank plus Clockwork Gnome would actually provide better value due to the fact that you can use the 2/1 plus hero ability to remove it. But no, it really wouldn't. Putting the Goblin Blast Mage onto this board is, in my opinion, the best chance you have to clear out the 4/3 if you attack with the Clockwork Gnome into it first. Frostbolt, of course, being guaranteed to be useful. But there's no way you're playing down the Mech Warper this turn. And using the coin on a vanilla Spider Tank means you're not able to utilize the Mech Warper's speed increase on this particular mech right now. It does leave you in a situation where you have a 3-4 against a 2-2 though, so all in all, the turn was not that bad. At 5 mana, you can go Mech Warper into Paladin Shredder. You could also go Frostbolt into an attack by the 3-3 into the 2-2. Use the Frostbolt to freeze down the 3-4. But this way, you force the opposing player to be reactive while you get to be active. Spider Tank, hero ability, and a Clockwork Gnome. Oh, no Clockwork Gnome. Is there a reason to not play it onto this board? Or is this a ghost card? I do believe that he should have played that Clockwork Gnome last turn. There was no real reason for you to hold on to it, if it is in fact an actual card. Dr. Boom perfectly on curve. Fits well against this board as well. Probably getting a Frost Bolted this turn. Do you hold on to the armor plating as Saftblandern though? You probably do. Because of the fact that this armor plating by itself is not much value. But with the Archmage, it could be one of the deciding factors. Alright, we're gonna use the armor plating to make the Goblin Blast Mage survivable from a boom bot or hero ability. Not a bad play, given the current situation. Enables you to hold on to the 5 attack minion. Using the Tinkertown Technician to spawn the spare part before deciding to go for the attack is a good call because of the fact that the spare part might actually be useful. Freeze minion coolant wise, not significant for this board. Getting the mirror entity, gonna get used on the Clockwork Gnome. If ever, there's a good chance to use the Clockwork Gnome. Emergency coolant on just a Quillbane Stalker would be a bit of a waste, so I understand why he doesn't use it. Decides not to. The board is heavily in favor of Drako right now. And the fact that Saftblandern doesn't have any cards left in his hand doesn't bode well for his future.
I am ready. I am ready.
I don't think there's a way that Saftblandern can turn this game around right now. He has used both Frost Bolts. They cannot be used to remove Dr. Boom. This version of Mech Mage doesn't run any polymorphs. Maybe if he has Fire Blast. Flame Strike, Flame Strike. If he has Flame Strike, that might clear the board, turn the game in his favor, but that's pretty much all there is. Especially with the Fireball in the hand. I believe that's lethal. Yep, there we go. Had he drawn into a Flame Strike last turn, situation would have been different. Now, Drako takes the game with his Mech Mage. Saftblandern has used his Paladin before, so it might be a Mech Mage versus Paladin again, or we might see the third decks from both players, which I do believe are Druids. You know you can be facing a Mech Mage or a Druid as Drako, so would you go for the Paladin or for the Druid? Well, we're just going to have to find out by joining the third match of this ongoing series, which is now 1-1.
Versus Malfurion. I must protect the one.
And Saftblandern deciding to go for the Druid instead of the Mage. What a great starting hand. Coin and double Wild Growth. This is looking very, very good for Saftblandern. Especially given that Drako doesn't have anything to play before turn number 3, and even then it's a big game hunter. Which is less than significant, to say the least. And we are out of sync once again. Sorry about this. Blizzard, please fix.
Reporting for duty.
There we go, back in the game. We have seen him play his first Wild Growth and double hero ability on turn 2 and 3. That's pretty much it. These draws though, the Knife Juggler from the mulligan and the Peacekeepers from the deck, make the game a lot more manageable for Drako. On turn 5, second Wild Growth to enable the Internal Lore next turn. Into a coined out Keeper or just a Shapeshift to remove the 1/1. Or fine. He could have argued that playing the Shade instead of Shapeshifting would have actually been the better play there, because of the fact that the Shade can start pumping itself up. But I do understand why he decides to go for the free card, so to speak. Noxromus going down on turn 7 with the Wrath removal and the Divine Shield being taken out by the hero power. In a perfect world, he would have been able to play down the Ancient of Lore for the card draw on turn 7. Because of the fact that the 4-3 existed on the board though, and the True Silver Champion would have been able to clear it away. I think that's the reason why he opts to go for the Wrath. There are plenty of other targets for the Wrath in the Paladin deck as well. And as you can see, the Juggler has been using combination with the Muster. 3 free knives, none of them hitting the Shade though. Enable the swipe to just completely board clear with the hero ability combination. Another option would have been to maybe just use the Keeper of the Grove for 2 damage and then swipe. You would have been left with a 2-4 instead of nothing with the Shade. Provided more board presence, yes. Maybe a bit of a waste on the Keeper, but in a game such as this, how highly do you value the Keeper's silence? You actually value it very, very highly due to the fact that Tyrion... Yeah, Tyrion cannot be handled without Black Knight or the silence. Now he does draw into the Black Knight though. Decides to attack with the Shade of Noxromus. He believes that the Shade is not in threat of being removed, and if Drako plays the weapon True Silver Champion this turn, then it does destroy the 1-3, but it's not a significant weapon to be destroyed, so interesting choice to go for the attack this turn. Yes, it does do one thing. It enables Saftblandern to actually have lethal this next turn with combo if he had it. So he wants to threaten the combo. Although he knows he doesn't have it, Drako doesn't know he doesn't have it. So this attack from the Shade is a decision by the player to threaten something that doesn't actually exist. He's outplaying the mind games, forcing the Tyrion or some other taunter to come out. And there we go. Saftblandern succeeds in mind playing, how do you say that? Playing mind games against Drako with either the Black Knight or the silence. He wants to deny. Oh. That was a mistake. There we go. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be a silence. And I'm sure Saftblandern was sure that was supposed to be a silence as well. Is this significant? Let's see. Now he's forced to deal with the Tyrion unless he plays down the Black Knight.
None shall.
Some could argue that that was just some elaborate way of playing BM, but no, I actually think that was a genuine mistake right there. Peacekeeper the 5-5, maybe remove the Shade with the weapon. Yep, there we go. Then heal body yourself to buy some more time. Does Saftblandern have the lethal? No, he doesn't. If he had the combo, then yeah, he would have the lethal, but as we can see, it's not there. There's 4 damage in the hand. Nothing else. Playing down the Engine of War is the biggest threat. Also providing cover for your existing minions. Forcing Drako to handle it. The Zombie Chow, a bit of a risk to take because it has the potential to heal your opponent up. And actually deciding to go for the board clear option instead of the aggression. Considering that Drako could well have the Equality Consecration combo in his hand right now, going for the board control option, yes, does mean that your Ancient of War doesn't get killed by the existing minions, but I don't know. I don't know if I would gone for the save playing there myself.
Follow the rule.
There's the consecration, not the equality though. This means that the Ancient of War will be able to stay on the board, at least for one more turn. With the older Peacekeeper though, it's not a significant threat. Saftblandern has gone from threatening more than 10 damage to threatening just 4. The swipe taking care of the minion and the Divine Shield. Probably gonna take the value trade from the zombie chow into the 2-2. Despite the heal. Or not. Deciding that the 2-1 is of better use to try and force the aggression. Drako does have the lay on hands though. Completely able to reverse the damage output of this board. This is just 7 damage from the board, so the lay on hands effectively buys in more than 1 turn of time. Using the weapon to clear out the free fight, of course the best possible choice.
Reporting for duty.
And just a hero power to conserve the potential of the knife juggler in his hand. Yes, there is a 3-minute delay on the stream. If you are wondering why my responses to your Twitch chat are a bit delayed, it's because of the 3 minutes of delay. Consecration, giving great value, removing 3 minions, enabling you to heal. And the Knife Juggler, in combination with the summons, probably gonna kill one of those minions. 66% chance to kill one of the minions. Nope, not this time. Keeper the Grove to silence down the draw from the 1-3, using the 2-1 as removal for the 3-2. It's not looking bad for Drako, suddenly. He's able to out-heal his opponent. Saftblandern is stuck with 2 innervates in his hand. Absolutely nothing to use it with. No targets for Big Game Hunter. And Drako has stabilized the board, made the situation such that, despite the fairly significant advantage that Saftblandern had, on turns 7 to 9, has been overcome by Drako's Paladin. Equality or Iron Beak-Owl, both good options against the big taunt. Here we should see him go for the face with everything he's got. Nope, deciding he doesn't want to give the opposing player the chance to get value from the 5-5 by killing the Sludge Belcher. Many players do value the board control more, but they're at a certain stage you'd have to stop going for the minion clears and think what your odds are of pushing down the opposing player in an efficient manner. Do you or do you not play the equality? If you don't play the equality, you also don't clear the board completely. But is that too much of a problem? I don't think so, but just by attacking the 2-1 and the 3-5 into the opposing Shield Master essentially means that
Reporting for duty.
you can clear the whole board, go for the face with the existing 1-1. Drako, realizing that now if ever is probably the best chance to use the Quartermaster with 2 reinforcements on the board.
I have no time for games.
These double innervates in Saftblandern's hand, completely useless. I don't see a way for him to come out of this game as a winner unless Drako, for some reason, wants to get rid of the Sylvanas. There's 8 damage on the board. The opposing player has 11 hit points. He should absolutely go for the face damage. And he does. Dr. Boom is basically just a small adding insult to injury type of play right now. There is nothing that Saftblandern can draw to win the game. Absolutely nothing at this stage.
Reporting for duty.
And we see the well-played emote come from him. It will be a concede. He will show the opposing player, yeah, I have the double innervate in my hand. Before pressing the button. He's just going through the motions. GG. From the Druid, it is now 2-1 for Drako. Drako is 1 win away from taking home the 50 euros and the title of champion of the Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament. Number 17. He only has his Druid left. So Saftblandern knows what to wait for. So let's go and join his side of the board. To watch the exciting finale of this tournament. It's going to be a mirror match, Druid versus Druid. So who draws better? Who gets the wild growths? This is basically a coin flip right now. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, as the tournament organizer, I wish for a nice stable game. Are we once again out of sync? Yes, we are. The game client, especially with the spectator mode, sometimes does have these annoying nags where things go bad.
I've got the beast in my sight.
Knowing that there's absolutely nothing else for him to do than play down the big game hunter against the mech druid. Oh yeah, this is the one that we saw previously in the other semi-final. Interesting choice of druid for Drako. Mech based combo druid with sticky minions. He decides to go for the possibility to put out early game presence with the Annoyotron into coin, into Wrath, to remove the big game hunter from the opposing side of the board. Do not blame the man. Oh, decides not to clear out the big game hunter. Well, this might end up backfiring pretty badly due to the fact that he can, and probably will, use the big game hunter to clear out the mech warper. If he had to use the coin Wrath to get rid of the big game hunter, then this Powder Shredder would have been able to be played for 3 mana this turn in combination with the hero power. Now, it's basically just 1 mana off. And he doesn't have the 2-3 remaining on the board. If Saftblandern is able to keep his board presence going until turn 8, this Kel'Thuzad will make sure the game is essentially over. And this Sylvanas order is very, very good for him, given that the opposing Death Rattle will proc first, and then their Death Rattle will proc after that. Good choice from Saftblandern and not attacking into the Sylvanas, forcing the opposing player to take care of the taunts, providing the aggression himself. He has Druid of the Claw for a charge. Deciding to use the Keeper of the Grove's damage on your own Sylvanas to get the most efficient mind control there is. The Sludge Belcher. Alternatively, the better choice might have been Sylvanas, but I don't really see how. We're gonna see an attack into... Oh, actually not a swipe. The Druid of the Claw. Personally, I would have maybe preferred swiping the Keeper of the Grove this turn already. Because of the fact that the Power Shredder and the Keeper efficiently trade into the Druid, making the Druid of the Claw a little less powerful. The plays from both of the players are actually quite fast as well. I don't know if it's the nerves or the time of the day, but it might be affecting the game. There we go. That 2 mana drop, efficiently making sure that Saftblandern wins the game, unless something very, very odd happens. And there we go. Concede from Drako means it is 2-2. If that Shredder hadn't popped down the Ghoul, this game would have been very, very different. This time, RNG was not on his side. Like I told you, the Kel'Thuzad can essentially change this game like it did. Swing it a whole 180 degrees into the other direction. This is Hearthstone, sometimes it happens. Let's go ahead and join Saftblandern again. This time, he will not have his Druid to be used. He will only have his Mech Mage left. And in a Mech Mage versus Druid matchup, well, I guess you could say that it's anybody's game, but given that Draco's Druid is also a Mech variant, I would throw my lot in with Saftblandern's Mech Mage. Drako does have a really, really good, strong start with that Wild Growth into a Shredder on essentially turn 3. So he might be able to ramp his way out of the Mech Aggression. Wait and see. The Snow Chugger itself over the Enoyatron. Probably due to the higher damage output. Coining out the Goblin Blast Mage this turn. Hoping that it'll kill off the 4-3. Whatever might come from it next will probably be dealt with by the existing minions. Nesoper, thank you for following. Everybody is appreciated. Well, looking back, I see that the chat has noticed that, yep, misplaying the silence on Tyrion cost him the game. You don't really want to rub it in on the stream, but you are absolutely correct. That misplay or misclick, you never know, was the reason why the Druid was unable to win that match. Let's see if it's significant. In this current Drako versus Saftblandern duel, it is looking like the Drako is going all in with his hand, using Innervates to clear out the Goblin Blast Mage with the existing removal, trying to thin out the mechs enough, just enough, to wrestle board control for his own side. And if the Druid is able to hold on to the board, then it should be his game to win. Tinkertown Technician into hero ability. I understand the appeal. But if he does that, he's restricted to just the Whirling Blades and the 2 spare parts. Or the hero ability. With the Powder Shredder, you know you're going to be using the Whirling Blades to remove the 3-3 from the opposing side of the board. With the existing 2-2. There we go. Just like predicted. Now, of course, Drako wants those Pilot Sky Golems to be of as much use as possible. This Shredder will be able to do efficient trades, but at least one hit from them will go to the face.
Something needs tinkering?
Synchron Technician times 2, not bad at all. Maybe even the Mirror Entity, seeing as how he has seen that both the higher value Sky Golems have been played. The Druid might play into Ancient of War, Ancient of Lore on the upcoming turns. He has to top deck something that's not great value for the Mirror Entity to not be useful. Considering running this Snowjugger into the Sky Golem is actually a really good call. You want to freeze out that 6 damage. There's the Ancient Allure, like mentioned. Drako is basically forced to play down the Ancient Allure this turn, which will give Saftblandern a 5/5 body, which is able to either kill off the Soul Priest or whatever comes popping out from the pile of the Sky Golem next turn with the hero ability. At this point the game could go either way. There we go. No point playing the Roar. Playing the Lore for 2 card draws is exactly right. It is a really tough decision to make when you know that the opposing player most likely has the Mirror Entity up. But if he doesn't play it, he slows down the game significantly. Double Savage Roar and a Mech Warper. These cards are not what you want to see. If he had gotten the other part of the combo, then yes, he would be in a really, really good spot with this board presence. Getting value from the 5/5 by attacking into the Sky Golem's spawn. Removing the 3/3. And using whatever remaining cards he already has to enable a taunt from the Rusty Horn onto one of his minions. So even if the opposing player were to have the combo in his hand already ready, he wouldn't die to it this turn. Swipe getting amazing value, combining it with the hero power, which will be able to kill off the opposing 5/1 Lore. Once again, Drako just needs the other part of the combo to finish this match, and Saftblandern has run out of steam, quite literally, from his mechs. Mirror Entity, Spider Tank, hero ability, that's it. There's pretty much nothing else you can do. You can of course freeze the 5/5, but if the combo were to happen, it would actually be pretty meaningless. Does buy you maybe 1 or 2 more turns. See, one of those Savage Roars this turn, even without the combo, would have been 15 damage. No wait, 7, 9, 4, 6, 13, 15, yes 16. It would have been exactly lethal, so if he hadn't frozen the Ancient of Lore, he would have died this turn. So in fact the coolant was a necessary play in order for him to survive. Goblin Blast Mage needs to hit all to the 5/5. Doesn't. This means that the Savage Roar will be lethal for Drako. And we will have our winner for the Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament number 17. Representing Team Empire from Russia, it is Drako. Congratulations. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked it, please take part in our tournament next week as well. Consider following, etc. You know the drill. These have been good games to cast. I will be doing this in the future as well. Next up, I will start taking the details from the winner and do the usual regular stuff you do after hosting a tournament. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope to see you in the future as well. Keep playing more Hearthstone.